The new you, Phos, is a little like Lapis. It's comforting. Is there anything else I can do for you? I'll help in any way I can. Any? Whatever you need, I'll help. I'm okay for now.
Ghost has been working the library alone for years, unseen, unheard. Then Phos gets this passion for studying, going through everything Alexi has, and it isn't enough, going to the library for more. Such passion is uncommon and not unlike someone else. When Lapis was here, we could handle any job. Ghost is never truly alone. Ghost Quartz has another gem inside of them, another voice in their head, another will to make them act. When the doubts in your head not only can argue back, but can control your actions, how sweet it must be to be in agreement. When Lapis was here, they could do anything. Now Phos is here, and they're a little like Lapis. It's comforting. Phos has that hunger to know more. Phos reached out to save Ghost. When Ghost was put back together into the dark hours of the night, Phos was still waiting. And now, Phos needs them. Something that is so important that they can't even ask for it now. Ghost shall not wait. After so long working the library unseen, unheard, Phos sees them, reaches out to them, needs them. After so long, Ghost is valuable. Ghost has a place. And the gem inside agrees. Phos may not be able to share what weighs on them, but Ghost can be there. They team up. Ghost will be there when Phos is ready to ask. The gems are immortal. Age does not hold an eventual end, while surviving is as simple as getting a bit of sun. So they live day by day without end. And as the days stretch on like the horizon, they are too complex to be satisfied by simply living. So what is the point of immortality? For what reason do they persist? Why did Ghost continue on? Because there's something important to them. Someone. Ghost gains a purpose, to be there when Phos needs them, and they gain a place to belong, at Phos's side. Ghost and the gem inside are in agreement. With Phos is where they should be. The purpose of immortality is twofold. It is to have a purpose, to see value in your actions, and to have a place, for others to see value in you. We have seen Ghosts change their purpose and place from Lapis to the library to Phos. Let us see how the other gems handle theirs. Rutile is the doctor of the gems, but that is underselling their importance. Rutile puts them back together, listens to their troubles, checks on their well-being, pushes them to take care of themselves, and notices and encourages connections between them. Rutile is the physical and emotional support for the gems. They are the cornerstone of this group, and this cornerstone's cornerstone is Padpara, their old partner, ever asleep. Rutile works on them every day, every night, on breaks, whenever they can't sleep. The Padpara puzzle is continuous and constant. When Phos takes Padpara, Rutile loses their cornerstone. They cannot wake up and not think of Padpara. They cannot go to bed and forget to reach for their tools. When they have a break at work, their idle hands have no puzzle to solve. Rutile breaks. Their purpose was suddenly stolen from them. When Padpara is taken, Rutile isn't able to work on them. And when Padpara returns, Rutile still isn't able to work on them. Rutile attacks. They will bring Padpara down. Then they can be useful again. Then they will have their purpose. However, when the moment arrives, when their tool is in place, They tremble. They hesitate. Rutile wants their purpose back. They want to be valuable. But will they really take from Padpara to get it? Can they? Well, we see it. They can't. They were resolved when Padpara appeared. When the chips were down and the opportunity is in their hand. They couldn't. And Padpara noticed. But they follow through. Rutile's everything cuts them down. They stare as they fall, only able to say, "my." A word of possession. With just one word, we don't get to know what Rutile was trying to say, but we know they saw it as theirs. Is it Padpara themselves? Rutile's purpose? Rutile's place? Rutile's fault? I think it is clear that Rutile's desires have gotten twisted. Their passion for fixing Padpara eventually turned into an obsession. Fixing Padpara was once a means to an end. At some point this changed. At some point the means became the focus. Rutile wanted to fix Padpara with their own hands. The important part here is Rutile themselves. Padpara is not the goal. This is twisted and far from how we see them earlier. When Padpara woke up last time, things were different. Rutile worked on Padpara hundreds of thousands of times over hundreds of years, and even after all that, they don't make any claims on Padpara's time. Even after Padpara goes back to sleep, they don't show any distaste for Phos using up their time. Did something change between these two events? Yes. Simply, Padpara fell asleep. The material that Phos found was a big deal to Rutile, something rare that should make a huge difference. However, Padpara was only awake for a few minutes. What does it mean if a much higher quality material ends with Padpara only being awake for a small amount of time? It means that Rutile is working towards a dead end, that they need something entirely different if Padpara would ever have a chance. But they don't have access to anything entirely different. The ruby that Phos found was rare enough as it is, and it was only worth a few minutes. Padpara is getting worse. They know the consequences of their observations. They shun their conclusions, refusing to accept them. This is their life. They cannot stop. But still, those conclusions seep into the cracks of their mind, poisoning them, twisting their desires, their wants, their perceptions, slowly. And with a sudden jolt of Padpara being taken, while already resolving to disobey Sensei if necessary, they break, physically and mentally. In a moment, what they wanted and what they want is not the same. They want to fix Padpara. They want to fix Padpara. 220 years later. No closure. No Padpara. Rutile was broken after losing Padpara. Now, they are utterly divorced from their past self. They have long left the doctor role, no longer supporting the gems physically or emotionally. They are so desperate, yet they don't even have a chance to go to the moon. Their twisted obsession twists and twists. They're used to thinking about one thing when they wake and one thing when they sleep. With Padpara so out of reach, they need something to focus all this anguish towards. Phos. Phos is the one responsible. None of this would be if it wasn't for them. One day Phos finally escapes, and Rutile is clever, finding Phos as they hide away. Just the two of them. Padpara. They are incredible. Just being able to look at Padpara is fantastic. Yet Padpara doesn't stop. They smile right at Rutile. They say their name. It's been over 300 years since Rutile has heard that. How desperate they have been for so long. Their last encounter played on repeat in their head. How they shouldn't have hesitated, how they shouldn't have attacked. What if? Doubt, shame, guilt. Oh, how they would have done anything to see Padpara again. Padpara pulls out their heart, cracking their chest, breaking their fingers. If there's anyone that should be whole, it is Padpara. There's no one who is more important to Rutile. No one and nothing comes close. Padpara throws this piece to Rutile, saying it's theirs, giving it willingly. In their last fight, this is what Rutile strived for, what their twisted desires focused on. Padpara says it's a souvenir, downplaying the immense importance of what they just gave, making so light of something Rutile has hungered for years on end. Padpara continues, saying it should help Rutile figure some things out. Yes, it should. That's why Rutile has wanted it so bad, wanted something that could fix Padpara, wanted to find what it would take for Padpara to live and breathe, for Padpara to be alive. And Padpara falls. How crushing it must be to get the object of your desires and see the cost. How foolish they have been. They have put fixing Padpara before Padpara themselves. How clearly they see this now. Phos gets away. How unimportant they are. Rutile has everything they have ever wanted, and it's terrifying. They have Padpara and the piece to awaken them. They don't even study the piece. It's been so long since they've worked on the puzzle, so long since they've been a doctor. And what were they able to accomplish back then? No, this piece is worth more than all of Rutile, and it is the last piece of their past. Back when Rutile and Padpara were tied together, back when everyone knew they would never be separated. They were wrong. Padpara left. Rutile was left behind. Just looking at Padpara is blissful. Will Padpara leave again if Rutile returns the piece? What a terrible question to ponder. So let this terrible moment stretch out. Let this limbo between choices last. It is far better than the last 220 years. Rutile will stare at Padpara for a little longer. During the final battle, Rutile just sits there, staring at Padpara. What does any of this fighting matter when Padpara is here? We don't see Padpara's chest piece. Where could it be? Would Rutile have set it down, hid it, given it to someone else? No. The only reason they would give it up would be to give it back to Padpara. But what if that wasn't enough? What if Padpara stayed asleep? Then what would Rutile do? Padpara gave their life to Rutile, and Rutile couldn't even return it. Padpara was getting worse hundreds of years ago. What can Rutile do now? The Lunarans? No. Phos did it. Padpara was walking around and fine, awake with no constraints. And Rutile took that from Padpara. They made it their mission to take out their frustrations on the only person that was ever able to save them. What can Rutile do? Just watch and pray and wait. Defeated. Padpara is discerning. Maybe this is partially due to their condition. By being awake so sporadically, they don't have time to get all the context or catch up. So they make the most of what they can see. In just a few moments of looking at Phos, they see through them. They know.
You've been through a lot, haven't you?
They see the burden Phos carries. They can tell the Amethyst twins apart. They know that simply being there is comforting to Yellow. Words aren't needed. Above all, though, they see Rutile. Every time they've woken up, Rutile is there, slowly getting more desperate, more tired, Padpara truly cares for Rutile. Padpara comforts them when they awaken, doesn't dismiss their woes, and is willing to never wake up again so that the burden of keeping them awake can be taken from Rutile. But they don't know how removing this burden will affect Rutile. Such unbridled truth might raise an entire landscape and change in a way you never expect. Even Padpara doesn't know what this change might bring. Padpara wakes up on the moon, whole, getting the two things they thought were once mutually exclusive, to be awake and to remove the burden from the good doctor. This was not done by treading carefully. This is not what Padpara recommended, but it worked. Padpara can see through Phos, can see the risks they have taken. How they took the greatest risk and it paid off. And now, Phos carries the greatest burden. Padpara gives up. They see that playing things safe was not going to solve things. They devote themselves to Phos, to remove some of Phos's burden. Rutile attacks Padpara as they arrive. Padpara is discerning. They know this is because of them. The unbridled truth raised the landscape in ways no one could expect. They still care deeply for Rutile. However, Padpara's purpose has changed. They are not here for themselves. While Rutile hesitates, Padpara does not. Padpara cuts Rutile down without a word. Now is not the time for discussion. Yellow gets surrounded. Padpara acts. Phos is at risk. Padpara acts. Padpara may see how Rutile has changed, but they stick to their purpose. They will support Phos. As they clean the mercury off Padpara, the Lunarans make sure to not return the pieces, and they keep Padpara asleep. Padpara grounds Phos, and the Lunarans want Phos unstable. Yet when Goshen just happens to find them and wake them up, Padpara immediately asks after Phos. They don't wait for more context. They go. Padpara arrives, and Phos is cracked and broken. And Rutile is there. Their partner is there. They can see the pain, the desperation, the insanity, the loneliness. Padpara is discerning, and their partner is there, lost, without a purpose. They smile and call out. There's so many things they could do. They could break Rutile again. They could easily take Phos by force. There's so many things that Padpara could say. They could explain why they haven't been here, why they're supporting Phos. Yet, they smile and call their partner's name. They understand how to cut straight to what matters. Padpara truly sees Rutile, and Rutile knows it. Maybe Padpara is a little greedy here. They choose love and duty. They save Phos, and they reach out to Rutile. Padpara reaches in and pulls out their heart, fingers breaking, chest cracking, and tosses the piece to Rutile. The gesture is clear. I'm in your hands once again. They let Rutile know that they see them. They still understand them. And with an action, they prove it. Here, Rutile, take this. It should help you figure some things out. This isn't just medically, it is so much more. What does Rutile have to figure out? What they want, what their purpose is. Padpara sees how Rutile has lost their purpose and how twisted their desires have become. In one act, Padpara puts these desires into the spotlight. What are you striving for, Rutile? What is your goal? Here, take what you wanted so long ago. Look at the cost. Padpara has them question themselves on if their goal is really for Padpara at all. Everything has always been about Padpara for so long that of course it's all for Padpara. Then all of a sudden, is it? Has it been? What has Rutile become? They curl up as they see how far they have wandered, how blind they have been. As always, Padpara is incredibly discerning. With so little time, they see through Rutile. They see Rutile. And in the usual Padpara fashion, They say so much with so little. Padpara's purpose changes over time, but their place has always been at Rutile's side. Rutile and Padpara have long had purposes and places before the story began. They belong to one another. However, their purposes change. Rutile holds so intensely to their purpose that they lose track of what made it important, while Padpara is relaxed and lets their purpose change as the world changes around them. This lets them stay true to who is important to them. Having a purpose and a place is essential, yet Rutile and Padpara show us what happens when you strive after them at any cost, how blind it makes you. Rutile's desperation grew year after year, but it was only when they let go that they understood what was truly important. Yellow is the oldest gem, and yet they do not have a purpose. They have a place. The gems hold them in high regard. They see Yellow as valuable, wise, desirable. However, for a purpose, Yellow only has distractions. They fight the Lunarans day to day. Eventually, they ask Rutile why they are even fighting. And Rutile only has another distraction to give them. When things slow down, the guilt rises up to take hold of Yellow. They don't know how to deal with this guilt. They only know how to push it away and focus on something else. When the guilt makes them worried about someone close to them, they do the same thing. They push Zircon away as they don't know how to deal with the fear of losing someone again. Yellow's eyes are fixed on the past. They have lost so many partners. In their younger days, they may have raged against the Lunarans, trying to fix things. But like the rest of the gems, they were lured into the hope of getting their friends back a little at a time. Yet the knowledge from their long lifespan has crushed even that hope. They have never gotten enough pieces back from the moon to rebuild anyone, and probably never will. Cairngorm was able to use old journals to figure it out. Yellow doesn't need to reference anything. They know because they have lived through it. Their friends are gone. Yellow's failures are permanent. Then one day, Vos returns from the moon. Suddenly, the past isn't so unreachable. Their old partners aren't unreachable. Of all the possibilities, Yellow just wants a chance to apologize. For a lifetime, they have just wanted to apologize. To just see their old friends again and tell them how sorry they are. Vos takes them to the moon. Yellow gets to reach the unreachable. And it's soul-crushing. It's so impersonal, so unexpected, like they've been forgotten. When Yellow planned to apologize, they thought it would be to something, someone. They didn't even need to speak back. Yellow just wanted the ability to let go of some of their grief, their guilt. But they get the opposite, more guilt. Friends they treasured so much were just ground into powder and scattered into the wind? Broken down so finely that Yellow can't even tell the difference? How is Yellow supposed to apologize to Ruby, to Sapphire, to Green Diamond, to Pink Topaz? They got the chance of a lifetime, and it rotted away in their hands. As Yellow lives on the moon, they still have a place. They're still welcomed by the other gems, the Lunarans, still held in high regard. However, Yellow still doesn't have a purpose, something to strive for, something of value. They don't see themselves as valuable, and now their distractions are gone. What is there to stop them from thinking about their failures constantly? The gems are powder. They cannot fix them. They cannot even go and apologize to them. They are stuck, hopeless. No one's words seem to help. We see Yellow break under this. The other gems find purposes and places to belong on the moon, while Yellow wallows in the past. If only they were different. only they didn't have their past. If only they were carefree, like the Lunarans. If only they were a Lunaran. Yellow starts to disassociate. The only comfort to be had is in seeing themselves, their past, as separate from themselves. As if they were entirely different. As if they were a Lunaran. As a gem, they remember their past. As themselves, they remember their failings, their loss. So they distance themselves as far as possible from them. The other gems do not know how to help. Haven't known how to help for a long time. They jump to, maybe if Yellow was a Lunaran, maybe they would be better. This is a symptom, not the source. Yellow can be given all the love in the world, but we accept the love we think we deserve. Having a place is not enough if you don't see value in yourself. Diamond is the polar opposite of Yellow. They have a purpose, but lack a place. They care about combat more than anyone else, besides Bort. They are the only gem we see come up with a new fighting style. They are accepted by the other gems, well liked. However, their value is dismissed. For a gem that cares so much about fighting, as soon as Bort arrives, Dia is utterly redundant. Bort tells them what they can do. Nothing. And as such, they are nothing. Dia is stuck in this state for a long time. They try to change. They try to improve enough to be seen as valid. They try to get a different purpose. They try not to care. None work. They are unable to change their purpose, and the other gems dismissing their value poisons Dia's view of themselves. When Phos returns from the moon, Dia finally sees something they can change. They can be somewhere else. Without boards or the expectations around them, they can be defined by their own abilities. So they ask Phos to take them. They're the only one that does. And on the moon, they find a place. They are known for themselves, valued for who they are, loved as an idol, not seen as an inferior version of another. They change their purpose. Why was Diamond unable to change on Earth, but could on the moon? The answer is simply Bort. On the Earth, the person Dia cares about most is Bort. Bort is their place. And Bort is so single-minded that there are no other options. Nothing is even close to the importance that combat has. So for Dia to change purposes would be to focus on something without value in Bort's eyes. When they go to the moon, they change their place. They don't have their value assessed by Bort at all. The Lunarans and the other gems value all sorts of things, and with this freedom, Dia dives into other interests. They become an idol and sing and perform. They are so well loved and happy. They found a place to belong. Oddly enough, we learn that Bort is much the same. They see combat as the most valuable because they are good at it, because it is needed, not because they see it as above everything else. With the lack of a threat, Bort completely dropped fighting and instead raised jellyfish, and they are much happier for it. Neither of them had the freedom to choose a purpose when the threat of Lunarans was ever present. And at the end, Dia has done it. They have matched Bort, and they are recognized by the one person whose recognition means the world. Yellow and Diamond are both missing a piece. Yellow a purpose and Dia a place. We see how you need to have both. One isn't enough. When Yellow doesn't have a purpose, they don't see themselves as valuable, and don't accept the value others put on them. Dia has a purpose that they believe is valuable. However, others see Dia as completely unneeded, and thus, Dia struggles to see their own value as well. Your purpose and your place are separate things. However, they are intrinsically connected. When one falls apart, the other isn't far behind. Every part of Cairngorm is seen through the lens of one question. How much control did they have? Your reading on the entire character depends on your answer. Before I share what I believe, let's talk about it. Acmea states that every decision Cairngorm made was not theirs. It was all Ghost, their actions, their feelings, their relationships. Acmea is wrong here. How wrong is up to your own interpretation. Firstly, there's no basis for Ghost having this type of control over Cairngorm. Back when Ghost and Cairngorm were whole, we didn't see any manipulation of thoughts, and they constantly disagreed. They had reason to change one another. We've only seen Cairngorm and Ghost take physical control over one another, and even in that, Ghost loses. When Ghost is about to be removed, about to be killed, they fight and lose. Ghost could not beat Cairngorm. Ghost does not have the ability to control Cairngorm like Acmea says. We don't know how often Ghost did control Cairngorm, or if they did. Conservatively, saying it was all Ghost is wrong, and saying it was all Cairngorm is likely wrong. At the most charitable, this conflicts with what Acmea said, while he stated it as a fact when he has no way of confirming it. This is clearly manipulative. If at most charitable, he is off, then how far off are things truly? I believe that Cairngorm's actions were mostly Cairngorm. I think Ghost was almost entirely hands-off. We see Cairngorm grow and change as a person, change their view on the world, and suffer a lot. Being with Phos was not easy. Living without Ghost was not easy. When Cairngorm was the gem on the inside, they didn't have to make hard decisions. They could watch and argue and sometimes control Ghost. But when a decision came, they could always back up and leave it to Ghost. Suddenly, they don't have that anymore. They are the one that needs to decide, and they are the one who has to live with the consequences. It is downright painful. Cairngorm got to a point where they were so tired of it, they just wanted to give up, to stop fighting with no end in sight. This is something we have seen the gems confront again and again and again. We see gems handle it differently. However, for Cairngorm, in their moment of pain, their moment of exhausted vulnerability, they are given an out. A way to escape the source of their pain, to never feel it again. They want to be someone else, anyone else, please. Let them stop being the one to make these impossible decisions. Cairngorm carries such guilt, such confusion. How are they supposed to reconcile these feelings? How long will this go on? When they look into Phos's eyes, they see things are getting worse. They know Phos better than anyone. They can see the pain Phos has been going through. They know the guilt Phos carries. Cairngorm has tasted that guilt. They see Phos. Cairngorm made them what they are. Look at how broken Phos is. You did this. Can you live with yourself? No. They can't. As they look to discard themselves, they are given an out. A way to be someone else. To leave this reality behind. To be someone who doesn't carry the weights of the past. Someone without guilt. Someone who isn't confused on how they should feel. I believe that Cairngorm took this lie, not because they believed it, but because they wanted to believe it. Then they created a new self around this lie, someone that wasn't so hurt, that didn't carry all this guilt and responsibility, someone happy. They've repeated this lie to themselves long enough for it to be true. Why would they go back to how things were? Do you know how terrible it was? I think a small part of Cairngorm still knows it's all a lie. When Akamea presents their old arm to them, they are terrified. This is their past. This is the truth. If they were to attach their old arm, they would get their old memories, and it could show these lies for what they are. That must be stopped. They are running from their old life. Maybe if they run away for long enough, they'll forget that the foundation is a lie. Cairngorm is terrified of the change the truth might bring, so they grind it to dust to never give it the chance. Ghost and Cairngorm are in agreement. They should team up with Phos. They miss Lapis. They blame each other and themselves for losing Lapis, for Lapis not coming back. They pray for Lapis's return. When Lapis was here, they could do anything. Ghost is tired of praying. Phos isn't Lapis, but when they look at Phos, they are in agreement. Phos needs them. They need Phos. And when Phos is shot, they agree Phos is the priority. Cairngorm suggests sacrificing their hand in order to get Phos out of there. Ghost agrees. When Ghost asks Cairngorm to protect Phos, it is followed by silence. Cairngorm screams, Ghost is gone, and it's all Phos's fault. No one is there to agree. Cairngorm is broken without Ghost. They break Phos's body again and again. Ghost is gone. They break Phos's spirit, giving them all the blame, all the guilt. Ghost is gone. They push and push Phos until Phos breaks. The guilt overwhelms them, their past overtaking their present. Phos won't fail them again. They can't figure out the secret, can't undo what's been done, and Phos breaks themselves. When Phos awakens, Rutile tells them to do more, be more, that their little stunt was traumatizing to Jade, that Phos needs to do better. Cairngorm walks in to push on Phos more, saying it's futile, that Phos is getting more useless. And for the first time since Ghost was taken, Cairngorm sees Phos. This whole time when Cairngorm has placed the blame on Phos, has called them useless, has belittled them, Phos hasn't just been accepting it all. They believe it. Phos actually blames themselves, actually sees themselves as useless. And despite all that, Phos has stayed at Cairngorm's side. Even now, after Phos tore themselves apart, just overflowing with self-loathing. And they don't reject Cairngorm. If it gets to be more than you can stand, go ahead and call me Antark, Ghost, whatever you want. They aren't just saying that Phos can call them whatever. Cairngorm is saying that if things get worse, if Phos's grip on reality slips again, Cairngorm will still be there, still accept them. And Phos picks up on it. After all this time, the two of them see each other. They connect through the pain and the cracks. And just like Phos, Cairngorm is done praying. They are done waiting, same as Ghost. The gems are immortal. It's so natural to wait for things. When there's no deadline, things don't need to happen right now. Yet when Ghost saw Phos reach for them, wait for them, need them, they did not wait. Ghost and Cairngorm have waited and prayed for Lapis for years. With Phos, they will not wait. They are in agreement. Cairngorm is the reason Phos lost their head. Attention was brought to Cairngorm multiple times that their arm was not okay. Then Cairngorm personally stopped Phos and decided to fight the Lunarans instead. Phos Fos is one of, if not the best fighter the gems have. Cairngorm did not need to take this fight. And Cairngorm knows Fos. Knows that Fos prioritizes everyone above themselves. Of course Fos would go to get Cairngorm's arm back. And now look. Look at where Cairngorm is. Alone. The most important person in their life is gone from their own actions. Cairngorm didn't truly understand how Antark changed Fos. Now they know. Rutile gives a hope that Cairngorm knows is false. Gems do not come back from the moon. Getting more pieces of phospholite from the shore is an infinitesimal. Cairngorm is tired of praying. They will not sit and wait for years on end for their partner to never come back. It's a shortcut.
I'm sorry, Lapis. Sensei. Phosphosolite needs a new head. We're going to use lapis lazulis. With your permission.
Rutile explains everything that could go wrong. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how low the chances are. It doesn't matter what unknowns might be involved. Fos is gone. This is the one person that understands them. Cairngorm was so cruel to Fos, and Fos stayed with them. Please, Fos must live. Gems do not return from the moon. Cairngorm is alone. Winter is almost here, and they were going to handle it together. It would just be the two of them, and it would be enough. Fos is enough. Fos is gone. Why must Fos always think about someone other than themselves? I am the one that is useless. Take me. Fos is all that I have left of Ghost. Of Lapis. Fos is all I have left. How troubling that it wasn't a shortcut. That after all that pleading, Cairngorm remained alone. It's been a while since yesterday. I almost threw myself into the ice floes again, but I had to see you again. It's been over 100 years, and I'm finally better than you at breaking the ice floes. You have always been incredible. You are my place in this world, the rock I'm grounded to. I'll be back tonight. Tomorrow is too far away. When Fos wakes up, it is harder on Cairngorm than they ever dreamed. Seeing Fos walk again is a dream come true. Hearing Lapis talk to them is a dream come true. They never expected both of those dreams, overlaid, would be so uncanny. Cairngorm has grown used to the operation being a failure. How unprepared they are for it to have worked. How deeply they worry for Fos. They made this decision for them. They haven't had a chance to apologize. They wish they could speak with Fos about 100 things, but Fos is so casual while they are so vulnerable. It's hurtful. But it's also Cairngorm's fault. This was their decision, not Fos's. Cairngorm regrets their decision, and they feel terrible for regretting it. But it's so uncanny. Lapis has been a memory for so long, and now Lapis' face is doing all the things Lapis would never do. It feels like an insult to their memory. But how can they be against it when Phos is back? And then Phos slows down and has a heartfelt moment with them. Maybe it's not so bad. Maybe it was worth it just for that. Then the layers start melting together. While it felt uncanny before, now it's confusing, scary, resonating. Cairngorm enjoys reading, but they preferred to listen to Lapis read aloud. Now they hear Lapis again. Cairngorm knows this is Phos, yet their eyes and ears tell a different story. They don't know how to handle it. Cairngorm accepted that Lapis would never return, and yet, they can see them. It's haunting. It's lovely, but it's hard. It likely took them years to adjust to Phos being gone, and now it might take years to adjust to Lapis and Phos being back as one. Yet Phos is acting now. Cairngorm can't keep up. Phos is ready to risk everything again, take on the world right now, when Cairngorm isn't even used to hearing them talk. Phos asks Cairngorm to send them to the moon, to let them go. What can Cairngorm say? They can't say no. Phos returns, miraculous, unheard of, and is planning something even greater. Cairngorm knows Phos, can see that Phos needs them. But they are so tired, they just need a break. Yet Phos needs things to happen now. They cannot wait. They take Cairngorm to the moon and show the gems the truth of everything. And Cairngorm sees Phos. They see the weight. What can they do? Phos wants to save everyone, solve everything. Cairngorm is trying to hold things together, and they can see how Phos is teetering on the edge. Yet they don't know how to help. Antark is gone. Forever. Phos will never be whole again. Cairngorm has been there. Cairngorm remembers when Phos was lost. Remembers the desperation, the insanity, the guilt. Cairngorm put everything on one sliver of hope. Nothing else mattered. Phos's last sliver just disappeared. Cairngorm has to be there for Phos, needs to do something. But they have nothing left. Cairngorm can see Phos's pain, see it's getting worse. Yet they are powerless to stop it. It's too much. They know the guilt Phos carries. Cairngorm has tasted that guilt. They see Phos. Yet Cairngorm made them what they are. Look at how broken Phos is. You did this. Can you live with yourself? Cairngorm is free of ghosts, free of their past. They can be who they were always meant to be. They can be anyone, do anything. They do not make decisions. They just follow Acmea and let the pieces fall. We do as Lepit, Acmea tells us. Cairngorm is happy. They no longer bear the weight of deciding, of consequences. Cairngorm doesn't care for the other gems, doesn't care for anyone. Phos is happy to even think about working with Cairngorm. Cairngorm doesn't care for Phos at all. Cairngorm got what they wanted. Life isn't confusing anymore, it's simple. Marriage is easy when you don't know what's going on. Time passes, and they don't recognize their own name. Princess is happy. They just have to refuse to look at the past to stay that way. Cairngorm and Ghost are defined by the urgency they show, by not waiting. This is something that ties them strongly to Phos. It's a rare quality for gems. Being immortals, nothing needs to happen right now. Disrupting the status quo is a risk. Action puts you at risk. This action leads both Ghost and Cairngorm to fulfillment and pain. Cairngorm gets a purpose and a place, protecting Fos while at their side. And it hurts. They make an impossible decision that leads them to a place they just don't understand. It's good, it's bad, it's scary, it hurts. It hurts so much they doubt making decisions. Cairngorm can see things are getting worse with no end in sight. Then someone offers to remove all of their pain, saying that it was all a lie, that the pain was never theirs to hold, that it can all be over. Cairngorm chooses to escape their past at the cost of those in their present. And deep down, they know they are being sold on a lie. But if they face the truth, they'll have to face everything. No, they will not go back. Many gems struggle with not having a place, not belonging. Cinnabar takes this to an extreme. They are completely alone, isolated from everyone for years on end without change. Their condition of uncontrollably creating mercury makes them a danger to everyone, everything. It not only pushes them away from the other gems, but makes them believe they should be alone. Cinnabar might be gifted, bright, and careful, but those are erased in the face of their condition. Simply touching a flower is out of the question when your touch will kill it. Just being around other gems is a risk, a permanent risk. The gems can always be put back together, but Cinnabar's mercury is one of the few ways to be permanently damaged. If gems are measured by the value they bring to the group, then Cinnabar's value is always negative. Every action they take is risky or damaging. They can't walk through the grass without putting it at risk. They can't express emotions without potentially losing control of the mercury. And even when they save another gem's life, it comes at the cost of everything around them. It will always be better if it was someone else. Cinnabar is inescapably net negative. They have been told, shown, and believe it. So they do their best to do nothing, to be nothing. Every good thing they do comes with a cost. So they get a job that is nothing, does nothing. They go to a place that is as far from others as possible. Is it any wonder they just want it to end? Then Fos comes into the picture, and they break the convention, the natural state things have settled into. Fos completely disregards the mercury. This thing that has defined Cinnabar suddenly didn't matter. Fos is unable to save Cinnabar from falling, but is utterly successful in reaching them emotionally. Fos doesn't have the words or ideas to help Cinnabar, but they are so sincere. Cinnabar is smart and has thought about their problem for years on end. There is no solution, no action, no words that will fix them. They try to pull Fos out of the mercury, out of their problems. Yet they cannot. Fos remains. Cinnabar has given up on solving this, and this stupid, young, kind gem reaches out to them when no one else would. Not even themselves. In just a few moments, Fos creates the beginning of what Cinnabar wants most. A place to belong. In one action, they reached Cinnabar. In one phrase, they bound them together. Before, years passed, and the only thing that changed was how sure Cinnabar was that nothing ever would. Now, days pass, and Fos risks everything. They risk being lost in the waves forever, for the chance at finding something they couldn't find in the hills. Cinnabar didn't ask for this. They tried to push Fos away, but they want to believe in Fos. Now Fos is gone, because of them. They try to reason the guilt away, but with every phrase they give ground. Then Fos shows up, confirming their guilt. They were in the sea for Cinnabar, and lying broken, they say they will try harder tomorrow and ask for forgiveness. This is so much for Cinnabar so fast. Vosk risking everything for them, losing a third of their body, their memories. And Vosk has the audacity to ask for forgiveness? For what? Being the only person that gives a damn about Cinnabar? Vosk, you can't even stand. And your focus is on that you didn't find anything? And you will do more? Forgive? No. What is there to forgive? The reason Cinnabar wants a new job, wants to escape the night, is to have a place, to be valuable to someone, to belong. Vosk has shown that Cinnabar is enormously valuable. Vosk risked everything, and now they are broken and will never be the same, and Cinnabar is still the priority. Vosk has done it. Cinnabar is wanted, valuable. They have a place. And it doesn't make any sense to Cinnabar. Will you forgive me? No, of course not. Vosk has long known they are useless. It is the results that matter. Of course Cinnabar wouldn't bend. They will do more. Just you watch, Cinnabar. Next time, I'll save you. Next time, I'll save you? You already have. What are you talking about? You just gave me a place. It doesn't make any sense. Why? Why do you value me so much? Because I saved you? That doesn't make sense. It could have been anyone. It should have been anyone else. And Cinnabar walks away. Vosk did it. They found a job for Cinnabar. It's a job I can't do with anybody but you. I want you to help me. The words are specific here. With you. Vosk not only found a job for Cinnabar, but with Cinnabar. This is exactly what Cinnabar wants. A purpose and a place. A way to be useful, a place to belong. Cinnabar doesn't have to be alone anymore. They might not trust themselves, but they can trust Vosk. This is everything to Cinnabar. What do they say back? They say, I've been waiting every day for you to say that. I've been repeating your words in my head every day, every word. That isn't how it comes out. They show they remember everything. They quote Vosk's exact words back to them, showing how much Vosk means to them. Vosk doesn't get it. The meaning between the words is lost on them. They continue explaining what their job is. It's not fun at all. Vosk agrees. They know it's not fun. They've been living it. Vosk needs someone to ground them. Their grip is slipping. They want Cinnabar by their side, so they won't be alone. Cinnabar is smart. Maybe too smart for their own good. They truly hear Vosk. They know what Vosk needs more than someone else's perspective. They need to decide. All the perspective in the world won't help you if you don't have an aim, if you don't have your own lens to see through. They won't lead Vosk to an end they aren't ready for. Cinnabar is so used to pushing people away. It's their natural state. I knew it. You are terribly smart and extremely careful. That's why I can't do this without you. Cinnabar rejects them, and this is their response. That Cinnabar is terribly smart and extremely careful. Things that Cinnabar is. Things that haven't ever mattered before. Things that have made their life worse, or even now they push Vosk away after Vosk wanted to be by their side. That's why I can't do this without you. When Vosk lost their legs, they showed that Cinnabar had great value, but it didn't make any sense. Cinnabar didn't accept it. Now, Vosk gives a reason. That's why I can't do this without you. Because of who you are. Not because you saved me. Not because you can help me. Because of who you are. That's why I can't do this without you. For once, Phos has the right words. They came to Cinnabar, gave them a purpose, a place, and above all, a reason to accept them. You only accept the love you think you deserve, and for once, Cinnabar feels like they deserve it. This is far beyond what Phos promised. This is everything and more. Cinnabar wanted a place for so long, has wanted to just not be alone. And Phos turns around and walks away. Phos, you had everything here, everything. You don't need the perfect job or the perfect answer. You don't even need to read between the lines. You just need to ask again. Don't you see how your words keep reaching Cinnabar? No, you don't. And Cinnabar's words within words don't seem to reach you. You two were ready to take on the world together. You were exactly what the other needed. And you walked away. And you let them. Phos may have walked away. But Cinnabar has all the time in the world. Right? Phos teams up with another gem and loses their head. Gone. With little hope of returning. Cinnabar once had a place in this world. Now it slumbers beneath a sheet. Now all that Cinnabar has is time. Things settle once again. Nothing changes. Cinnabar is how they've always been. Alone on the night watch. Phos wakes up. Phos is here. They're going to the moon. No. Cinnabar has lost Phos before. Cinnabar has had a place before, has been valuable to someone before, and has lost it. They've had 100 years to think on a few moments. Losing Phos is the worst thing possible. Again. Phos raises their hand. You want to come with? After all this time, you finally just ask. You ask to join you beyond the world, into the unknown, into hell. Into the place I thought was the only way I could be valuable. Yes, I'd love to come with. Yes, even to the moon. It doesn't matter where. It doesn't matter how long. I gave up my plans to go to the moon for you, even after you left. We don't know what will happen, but we will be together. And that's enough. You are enough. Phos pulls their hand back, saying it's too dangerous, and they'll talk to Cinnabar when they return, returning Cinnabar back at arm's length. Phos walks away. Because it's too dangerous, Phos risking themselves to save Cinnabar is backwards, always has been. Being alone is worse than death, and Phos keeps risking everything. Return from the moon? Nonsense. That isn't logical. There is no precedent. This is losing Phos.
Don't go!
This all started with Phos telling Cinnabar to not go to the moon. Now Cinnabar says the same. Phos turns around, runs back, says they didn't hear. I really did come here to get your advice, but you didn't say anything. It was making me nervous. What did you say? To get your advice. Phos came here for advice, not for you. Cinnabar cares about Phos, wants to be there for Phos, to just be together. But Phos didn't come here for Cinnabar. They just came for some words. So Cinnabar gives them.
Be careful.
Cinnabar just got Phos back after 100 years. And now they will lose them forever. What a twist of fate, a twist of roles. The moment that bound them together was Phos pleading with Cinnabar to not go to the moon. Now the moment that unwinds the two of them is Phos denying Cinnabar's same plea. But it's not the same. Cinnabar wanted to go to the moon because they had no purpose, no use, no place to belong. Phos wants to go to the moon for their purpose, to eventually get their place. Cinnabar's place is Phos, just Phos. Phos is enough. Phos is everything. Why can't they see that? Phos, who is so much smarter than they have ever been, but they can't see how important they are. Can't see that they are loved. In Phos's pursuit for everyone to love them, they fail to see that they are loved. We learn later that Phos did hear Cinnabar, but pretended they didn't. Why? Why did Phos lie? I believe that Phos is afraid to turn back, to stop. Afraid that Cinnabar will talk them out of it. Afraid they will never figure things out. They know Sensei is hiding something. They know the others just overlook it. But Phos can't. And all the other sources have dried up. The safe options have run out. The only one left is life-changing. Phos can't stop. They can't unlearn what they know. What could they say to convince Cinnabar? Nothing. Cinnabar's concerns are logical, reasonable. Phos has no counter, no reassurance. There are too many unknowns. How is Phos to continue? Going to the moon means death. For an immortal, that isn't necessarily forever. For Phos, it won't be forever. One day the Lunarans may use pieces of Phos as arrowheads, even just as an insult. But every day until that fateful day, Cairngorm will be without a partner. Daya will have lost a friend. Cinnabar will be alone. How many days did Phos stare at the sky when Antark was taken? How could Phos do that to Cinnabar? What is Phos to do? This hurts. Unable to move forward, unable to stop. Phos is unraveling. This is a dead end. So they deflect it. Pretend they didn't hear, lie to themselves, and push the initiative back onto Cinnabar. Something Cinnabar is not good with. They can both pretend it never happened. What if Cinnabar does say it again? Straight to Phos's face. No deflection would be sufficient. The relationship would be right out there. Phos would see the value they have, and the pain their decisions cause. What would Phos do? But Phos measures right. Cinnabar can't say it again, and Phos will continue forward. Phos comes back from the moon, and the first thing they do is reveal they lied to Cinnabar. Phos tells Cinnabar everything, ending with asking Cinnabar to go to the moon with them this time. With Yellow and Daya and the others. Cinnabar says no, saying they'd feel bad for Sensei. A lie. A bold-faced lie. We already know that Cinnabar hides what they really mean between the lines, and they have trouble expressing their feelings. Why did they actually say no? We know that Cinnabar's greatest desire is to have a place, to no longer be alone. And Phos is offering them a place here. But will they no longer be alone? Cinnabar has had a room next to the other gems this whole time, and they choose to stay away. Being isolated and alone is terrible, yet feeling alone, surrounded by people, is even worse. Being around others physically is not the goal. I believe Cinnabar is terrified of feeling alone on the moon. If they go to the moon and are still held at arm's length, then what is the point? They don't say this. It doesn't help that Phos keeps giving Cinnabar everything and then taking it away, putting Cinnabar back at arm's length. They are still alone on the Earth. Why would the moon be different? So they deflect, just as Phos did. The big mistake Phos makes here is they fight the argument Cinnabar made, not what Cinnabar actually cares about. Even Cinnabar's condition pales in the shadow of being alone. If Phos reassured them, I think Cinnabar would have been convinced. I believe Cinnabar wanted to be convinced, wanted folks to say that they needed them, wanted folks to say that they are the focus, just wanted to know they wouldn't be forgotten. Faust pushes here, angry, frustrated. They dive into Cinnabar's deflection, trying again and again, but they are blind to what really matters. Cinnabar is so important. They have always needed Cinnabar. If only they would just say that. Cinnabar wants Faust to understand them. Clearly Faust cares. They keep trying again and again. So Cinnabar tells Faust what is holding them back, saying that Faust may be fine without them, but they will not be okay without Faust. And it comes out in the worst way possible. Everyone loves you, even the Lunarans. You don't understand what it's like to be alone. Cinnabar sees Faust getting along with everyone else. Faust has all the options in the world, but Faust is Cinnabar's one lifeline. The tragic misconception here is that Faust is much the same. While Cinnabar is isolated and alone, Faust is surrounded and alone. Faust can't talk to anyone. They constantly feel alone around the other gems as they need to keep hiding more and more. Cinnabar is Faust's lifeline. Both of them are so similar. How tragic it is that in Cinnabar's attempt to let Faust in, they hit Faust where they are weak. And Faust goes to the moon without Cinnabar. After Faust leaves, the gems ally against Faust. They need Cinnabar. Cinnabar is so uniquely valuable to them, both smart and careful to counter and disarm Faust, while at the same time being the only gem able to inflict everlasting wounds. Cinnabar is irreplaceable. They have a place. Finally. How could they not lean into it? How could they not do a good job? They finally got a job that didn't leave them alone. Yet they still remember Faust, still worry about them, even as they turn their mercury on them. Cinnabar comes up with a way to disarm Faust long term. The gems jump at it. As Cinnabar realizes how effective their strategy is, they take a step away from it. This will be killing Faust with no end in sight. The gems will not agree to put Faust back together. When the Lunarans come to retrieve them, they'll have time to counter and stop them. And yet, the Lunarans don't come. The one that was loved by everyone has absolutely no one to help them. This isn't what Cinnabar wanted, but they desperately don't want to be alone. And Cinnabar is happy. They spend time with the others daily. The gems find ways to spend more time with Cinnabar. It's blissful. Years pass, and things settle. A life of being accepted. A life without Faust. Faust escapes and returns. Last time they only wanted to talk. They learned their lesson. By the time Faust reaches Cinnabar, they've crushed everyone else. With apathy, with joy, with confusion. Faust didn't have many words for anyone. But for Cinnabar, they stop and speak.
You know they're only using you, so they can get rid of me. I know.
Cinnabar knows this. They know the gem's fear of Faust is what makes them hold on so tightly to them.
You don't have any real friends. That may be so.
Cinnabar admits it's possible. And this goes beyond just the gems on the earth. This is including Faust themselves. It seems Faust doesn't see them as friends anymore. What about Cinnabar? After all this time, even now.
You're awkward, empathetic. I know.
Cinnabar has been alone for a long, long time. They don't know how to express their feelings or say what they really mean. Their social experience is lacking. They are awkward. Cinnabar knows and accepts this. And Cinnabar stays with the people that only accepted them once they had something to gain from it. Fear of another, driving them to need Cinnabar. Is it pathetic to be so desperate to belong, to revel in this? Cinnabar thinks so. Phos has been carrying so much for so long that they broke. Now they want to be the one who isn't in pain. Let everyone else taste it, drown in it. Euclase tries to fix things with words. Phos shows them how useful words have been to solve problems. There's nothing to discuss with any of the gems. It is too late. Then they see Cinnabar. They try to make Cinnabar question their place, pushing that it's hollow, that it's broken to its core, that Cinnabar is just being used as a means to an end, and they don't have anyone who truly cares. Phos insults who Cinnabar is, that they are pathetic to choose the path they have, giving everything just to feel loved. After so long, after everything Phos has forgotten, I still remember what is important to Cinnabar. Cinnabar doesn't disagree with any of it, and their resolve is untouched. Cinnabar has been alone. Cinnabar has been desperate. Even if their place was built on fear, even if they don't know if any of their friends are true, they belong. Even if it's pathetic, they belong. Cinnabar's purpose and place align against the person that cared about them the most. Cinnabar remembers the past, but they do not live in it. They fight, clash, break. Phos is cruel and Cinnabar is clever. Cinnabar breaks Phos again and again, yet Phos is the one gem where that isn't enough. At the end of it all, Phos is utterly drenched in mercury, with Cinnabar's head on a spike. And Cinnabar's job is complete. Cinnabar smiles. After everything, there is no resentment, no bitterness. Cinnabar was alone for so long, and Phos gave them a place, gave them a chance to be friends with the others, to belong. Cinnabar never forgot this. Cinnabar thanks Phos for keeping their promise. Phos gave Cinnabar everything and suffered for it. Cinnabar knows this and is so thankful. And amidst Phos's fury, amidst such suffering, Cinnabar reaches Phos when no one else could. With so much anguish, Phos just wanted things to end. And suddenly, Cinnabar pulls everything into focus. What am I doing? Cinnabar's story is one of isolation. The desperation it brings, how it poisons your decisions. Where even when given a place, they aren't willing to accept it. In many ways, they are similar to Phos. While Cinnabar is alone and feels useless, Phos feels alone and useless while surrounded by people. Cinnabar is stuck, unable to trust themselves or try and change things. Phos is stuck, unable to stop, always pushing forward. Cinnabar has neither a purpose nor a place at the start. While their purpose shifts throughout the story, it is always a means to an end of not being alone. They simply want to belong. Yet when Cinnabar does gain a place, they hold onto it with such desperation and honesty. They know it's everything to them. It doesn't even have to approach perfection to be everything. Phos accomplished their goals. They ended the war, found Sensei's secret, found Cinnabar a job. Phos did it. They fulfilled their purpose. And the cost? Being alone. all the gems are taken to the moon. They choose to turn into Lunarans. Rutile is doing fantastic. Once more a doctor, helping people sort out their minds, while never being far from Padpara, their partner. The most romantic relationship we see in the story. In Rutile's last moments, they realize what the most important thing is. And on the moon, they got it. We see how Padpara chooses to spend their time now that they finally have a wealth of it. And it's next to Rutile, never far away. Padpara always knew how to spend their time well. Yellow got what they wanted, what everyone thought would fix them. They're able to fully disassociate from their past. However, the guilt and loss of their past has grown so great that even getting their old partners back does not restore them. They have fully broken off of who they are. They barely function. Just like the other gems, they got everything they wanted, but it's too late. Daya is great and idle once more, and they push Bort to join them once again. Bort isn't having any of it, but you can feel they care for one another. Cairngorm is how they've been for a long time now, happily beyond their past and all things associated with it. Acmea gives them a new name again. We don't see much of Ghost. They're sad that Lapis was never able to be brought back. Cinnabar is happy. Their condition is gone. They can touch flowers now. They never had that. They gain new friends that want to spend time with them. No ulterior motives. It's blissful. It's unreasonably good. This is far better than Cinnabar ever dreamed. It's perfect. Besides one thing. Phos. Phos is the reason they are here. The reason this is all possible. And Phos paid for it. Cinnabar knows that they have Phos to thank, but Phos isn't here. And Cinnabar is happy. They are bothered that they are happy. It was always Phos to reach out to them. Phos that gave them a place again and again. And now Phos is isolated, alone. Cinnabar looks at the earth. Is there anything worse than being alone? Cinnabar wishes Phos could be here, but they are happy. They are happy that for once they have a place that isn't complicated. They just belong, and it's fantastic. Cinnabar on the moon paints such a dissonance between their experience and the readers. Cinnabar is happy, but feels like they shouldn't be. The reader is depressed, and is shown things that should make them happy. You see all these gems in better situations than they ever have been. You're supposed to be happy that Cinnabar can touch flowers. You're supposed to be happy that Rutile and Padpara are together. There are good things here. However, as the reader, you can't turn away from the cost of it all. But this is all built on top of Phos, how it's always been Phos. And after 10,000 years, they will return to Earth and ask for more. Ask for Phos to remain alone. It's terrible. But the reader looks at Cinnabar finally having a place, one that isn't built on desperation and doubts. This is good, but it feels awful. The dissonance is so powerful. This chapter feels sick. Seeing all the gems happy feels disgusting. But we are powerless to change it. Just how Cinnabar feels powerless to change it. Cinnabar can't turn away from their new life, and we can't turn away from Phos. What is the purpose of immortality? When the war is over and all options are open, what do all the gems do with their time? They share it. The gems have different purposes and places. However, most of their purposes revolve around their place. It wouldn't be a stretch to say their purpose is to belong, to be with someone, to not be alone. The worst fate for an immortal is not death, or captivity, or maiming. It's being alone. We see how crushing being alone is. We see it rob Cinnabar of agency. They don't trust themselves, unable to act. We see the threat of losing Padpara twist Rutile's desires until they are unrecognizable. We see loneliness wound Cairngorm. After so many years, even getting their partner back does not erase these wounds. Post knows a Cairngorm that doesn't exist anymore. We see Cairngorm throw away their past and everyone in it to escape it. And we see Fos drown in it. In this life, where the days stretch on like the horizon, but still come one at a time, what is the purpose of it all? When everything we make will deteriorate and everything we do will be forgotten, what is the purpose? To share it. This world is too brilliant and life too long to be lived alone. The joy of being seen, the contentment of being understood. There's an inherent desire in us to be valuable, to be wanted. As the days come one at a time, the greatest value, the greatest purpose is to share that time. And in the eyes of those we love, we know it matters.